So some years back, I was teaching my youngest daughter a little bit of basic witchcraft. Okay, she was very young. She was 15 years old at that time. So um, she was seeing a psychologist because unrelated incident. She had an incident at school, and they forced her to see a psychologist. You know, it was a basic thing that would happen with a violent teen or whatever. And she was getting therapy from a 37-year-old psychologist in Chicago. So after 2 weeks, this woman who was a therapist um, was a little obsessed with my youngest daughter. And 2 weeks later, I was told that by another from another psychologist that this woman bought my daughter a car. Of course, when the higher ups find out about this in the facility, they put that woman on suspension. Okay, so nothing really happened between my daughter and that psychologist woman, that 37-year-old highly decorated psychologist. So what happened for real? Well, what happened for real was that my daughter didn't share the same ethics that I do because she's younger. So she wanted to play with her food in a way. You know how a cat will play with a mouse. And the thing here is that she wanted a car, and she played with this woman's mind. Okay, so you look at the title and it says, "Understanding that the weak and the strong mind are both prey to WIKKANI witchcraft." Well, this is an example, a real life example of that. But I'm going to explain how this really works. Okay, and I'm going to do it in a safe way. So it has to do with association and causing obsessions and causing imagery in the mind, and also causing associated imagery in the mind. So psychologists will go to school, uh, you know, spend thousands of dollars learning about psychology. But the WIKKANI have been around since 1157. So they've been practicing psychological things in the field before there was even psychology. Back then they called it epistemology. This is where it all comes from. So let me give you an example of producing imagery in the mind, and why a weak-minded person and a strong-minded person, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether you're weak or strong-minded. It matters how the brain works. So I'm going to say something that's safe, and safe and sound. It's not going to hurt anybody, but I'm going to say a sentence. Okay. So that sentence goes like this, and I've said this before in other blogs. Um, a red plane is going to land at Midway Airport at 12 o'clock. So I'm going to say it again. A red plane is going to land at Midway Airport at 12 o'clock. So once you heard me say this, it doesn't matter how strong or weak your mind is. Whenever you see the number 12 o'clock, or see the word red, or see the color red, or see the word midway or airport, those are key words. And you're gonna involuntarily, whether you like it or not, think about the images that are associated with those words. It doesn't matter how strong your mind is or how weak your mind is, but it matters how your brain works. So when I say something like a red plane is going to land at Midway at 12 o'clock, those associating key words are going to automatically force you to bring up those images or associated images with the sentence I just said. So basically, a great deal of WIKKANI witchcraft has to do with involuntarily producing images and feelings and sensations from the mind. Um, Obviously, if you've been doing this for many years, you can do great things with this. You can make people feel certain ways just by saying a sentence. You can make people feel sad or happy, or think of wonderful things or horrible things. or make people consider a person as a object of affection, like a love spell, or an object of fear. You know, it depends on how you speak of these things and how well you understand them. Obviously, what I said right now is it's not going to hurt anybody because I'm not telling you how to actually use it. I'm just explaining how it works in a very, very simplistic way. What I'm saying is that people tend to think that the mind could be strong or weak and go, well, this person is strong-minded, so this is not going to work. Well, as I explained earlier about the 15-year-old girl, one of my daughters, and the 37-year-old psychologist who spent 8 years getting a degree in psychology and almost threw away her entire career because I have a rascally daughter, just rascally, playing with her food, as they say, then you can understand that strong-minded and weak-minded, they don't exist in the world of the WIKKANI witchcraft. It doesn't exist. And probably why we have a lot of psychologists that don't like us. However, nothing happened really bad in the internet. I was able to correct it. And the lesson here is that when you look at yourself, you got to understand about the way you perceive things and about the way you perceive things that are scary to you. And in retrospect, if you train your mind, you can train your mind not to be scared of things that would stress you out in life. And these are the kind of things where witchcraft can actually help people and not hurt them.